Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, I'm Tate Lakecraft. A proof of vaccination policy is now in effect in Saskatchewan. Starting today, people will have to show proof of both shots or a negative COVID test to get into places like restaurants, gyms, theaters, and concerts. The provincial government launched 2 new apps to help with verifying vaccination status. Saskatchewan faced a legal challenge against the policy, but courts ruled that applicants failed to show any proof that vaccine requirements could cause irreparable harm. Thousands of Albertan workers at Real Canadian Superstores are asking for more from their employer, and they're willing to risk a strike. In a union vote last week, 97% of voting Alberta Superstore employees endorsed the motion of strike. Roughly 10,000 union members are employed at superstores across the province, as Local 401 spokesperson Scott Payne says that the turnout sends a strong message.
Superstore workers just don't feel like all the hard work and the sacrifices that they've endured and the contributions that they've made to keeping these stores open and making sure that people could get access to the groceries that they need over the course of the pandemic are being acknowledged. They don't feel like they matter.
Over the course of the pandemic, more than 30 superstore locations across the province have reported COVID outbreaks. According to Payne, it's something that seems to have been forgotten on the bargaining table.
To then turn around and feel like the company just isn't taking the incredible contributions that they made seriously and isn't acknowledging them and feeling like they just don't matter in negotiations, is real insult to injury.
To officially enact the strike, superstore workers must provide 72 hours notice to parent company Loblaws. The strike vote is valid for 120 days, and Local 401 says that an update is expected in the near future. Tate Lakecraft, Primetime Local News. A local company has hired more staff to help keep up with demand for COVID testing. Stacey Comer spoke with the owner of Assure Occupational Testing to find out how they're dealing with an increase in business.
I'm joined today on Primetime Local News by John Riccocci. John is the owner and CEO of Assure Occupational Testing. John, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invitation, Stacey.
Well, John, we want to talk about something that your company is doing now because of the need, and that is COVID testing on site or wherever happens to be required. Tell me what type of services you guys are offering.
Yeah, so one of the most common requests that we're getting right now, like you mentioned, is the rapid COVID antigen testing. So who knew we would be stepping into this arena about a year or two ago, but now it's becoming one of the most requested services that we're offering. So I'm actually on site right now as we speak, doing 24/7 staffing for a turnaround for a company for doing rapid antigen testing. So we do rapid antigen testing. Of course, we do drug and alcohol testing, nursing staff that does occupational health testing, physical abilities testing. It's all about keeping employees safe for the workplace is what we focus on at Assure.
Now, with the addition of the COVID testing to the things that you do, John, you were mentioning before that you've had to even increase staff because right now there is quite a demand.
Yeah, so we've recently hired 2 new staff just to keep up with the demand for antigen testing specifically. That's been kind of taken over our bookings at the office day to day. So we've hired 1 staff for the office, 1 just for this turnaround job, and then even with the current staff that we've got on, staff are taking on additional hours to keep up with the demand. So it's been really good to get more hours for our staff and to be able to hire some new staff. It's a great position to be in.
So what are the requests that you're getting, John? Is it going to places like once a week to do testing or just random employee testing? What type of is kind of the whole, I guess, gamut that you guys do when it comes to COVID testing?
So with COVID testing, a lot of the requests that we're getting is from individuals, even just moms and dads that want to go watch their kids play hockey and need an antigen test within 72 hours just to get into a game. I think last Thursday and Friday we were quite busy because of the 72-hour window. People needed to time their antigen test appropriately to get to a concert. People were going to concerts in Calgary. They were going to games in Edmonton. So we're getting a lot of requests for that, and with oil companies as well, we've done this for a couple Sunday evenings to do some testing for a lot of companies so that workers are able to get to work for the first thing Monday morning. So that's something else that we're doing is we're opening, typically we're just open Monday to Friday, but we've actually opened up for some extra office hours just to get workers ready to get to work when they need to get to work. And we're even coming in a little bit early. We usually start at 8 a.m. Some mornings we're starting at 7 a.m. just to accommodate our clients. So, but a lot of the demand has been just kind of balance between individuals needing it just to go to an event, and for companies as well, just to make sure their workers get their tests so they can get on site in the morning.
So John, how does this work then if somebody wants the test, say, to go to an Oilers game? Obviously, that's something they have to pay for, but with companies, do the companies then pay for it, or is it just kind of a mix depending on what the test is actually required for?
So companies what I'm hearing from companies is I'm taking a lot of calls from HR managers and managers of companies right now, trying to sort out these exact questions. Who should pay for this? That's a common question that I get a lot from companies when it comes to drug testing too. Who should pay for it? But what's most commonly happening right now with antigen is the company is paying. But some are saying we'll pay for your antigen tests until November 1st, December 1st, whatever it is. I'll give them a timeline. Some are looking at making it a requirement to get both vaccines to stay employed. So I'm hearing that from some companies. Some companies are saying we're not going to demand that of our employees. But quite commonly, the company is paying for the antigen test. But again, some companies are saying we'll only pay for it for the next month or 2 months, and then you're on your own to pay for your own.
John, do you think this is something that is just temporary for you guys being this busy, or is this something that you think is going to last for a while?
Yeah, that's a good question. One that we've discussed a lot here in the office. How long is this going to last? So I think we're in this for a few months, to say the least. But what the provinces decide, what the federal government decides, and if they change things and decide not to accept antigen testing like some other provinces are doing, then that it's kind of up to the provinces to decide. But for now, it seems like it's here to stay, at least I would say until January.
So John, if people are looking, if they have questions or if they want to book some tests through you, what is the best way to reach you and your company?
Yeah, the best thing to do if you need an antigen test is to call. We encourage people to book an appointment. You can try a walk-in and you might get lucky, but it's best to call the office at 825-5030 or visit our website at assuretesting.ca for more info about antigen testing.
All right, John. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and good luck. This is something, like you said, it's all new to everybody, but thanks for helping some of these companies and individuals wade through it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Stacey.
The Vic Juba Theatre is looking to make an expansion to their backstage, and they've taken on a couple of fundraisers to help fund the project. Josh Howerluck has the details.
Today, I'm joined by Gwen Mottram from the Vic Juba Theatre to talk about their fundraising goals to expand the theatre. So what would be the plan for the expansion?
Right. So we have an expansion that is backstage at the Vic Juba. So it's going to be used primarily for our dance community. The dance season is 3 months of the year. And then for school events, which is the full month of December. And for theater productions take about 3 months to rehearse. And we're also going to use it for VIP receptions, meet and greet receptions with artists, and smaller concert events. So there's multiple uses for the expansion.
And what do you hope to gain from this expansion? What will the space be used for?
So it will be multi-purpose. So it can be divided. It can be set up with a stage. It could be used just as rehearsal space. It's going to be multi-purpose.
So to date, what sort of fundraisers have you been doing?
We've done a variety of things. Right now, we're in the last month of a matching donor program. We have a wonderful matching opportunity that goes until the end of October. So people have an opportunity to double their impact with a donation, and that ends at the end of October. And then starting on Monday, we have another partnership with Wickham Nurseryland. We're doing holiday flower arrangements. So that is happening as well.
And how much have you guys raised so far?
We're just over 290,000. Our goal is to get to 300,000 by the end of October. In November, we will be adding, our matching donations will be coming through, and we know that's going to be at the 150,000. So by the end of the year, we will definitely be at the $450,000 mark.
And what would be your fundraising goal?
Our fundraising goal is $1,100,000.
So do you have a goal on when you'd like to break ground on the expansion?
Well, next year we are going to apply for the provincial and federal grants. So we have to have our fundraising in place to apply for all of those grant opportunities. And so we should be in we should be able to start breaking ground in a couple of years.
And what will the expansion entail? Will it be dressing rooms, more backstage area?
So it's really going to be used. The multi-purpose expansion is backstage. It's going to be used for rehearsals for dance groups. It's going to be used for rehearsals for theater productions, and it's going to be used for a staging area for the Christmas concerts. All of the schools need space backstage. Right now, we don't have enough space. It is wall to wall back there, especially during dance season. It's just wall to wall. We need more space.
Would you say that there was a tipping point when you just thought that we need more space here?
It really is the dance season, which, like I said, is 3 months. So 3 months of the year, it's wall to wall. And then again in December, there's just not enough space.
And so how big will this expansion be in sort of a rough square footage?
The approximate square footage of the expansion is 3,980 square feet.
And where would people be able to find more information on your fundraising or to even donate?
For more information, people can go to our website at vicjubatheatre.ca.
Now, we're just going to take a quick backstage break, but we'll be back with more news after the break.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Welcome back. In honor of the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, businesses around the border city lit up in orange last night. Before being recognized as a national holiday, September 30th was known as Orange Shirt Day. With the tradition carrying on, Maz Entertainment, the Gold Horse Casino, and new Lloydminster Nissan glowed orange.
To be perfectly honest, we called up Roger Anderson from the Gold Horse Casino, who is a friend of ours, and just said, what can we do, Roger? And he mentioned that they were lighting up the Gold Horse Casino orange, and he said, why don't you guys do the same thing? And it was just a nice way to show your support, and so that's what we decided to do.
Price hopes that the day will permit more people to learn about the depth and history of Indigenous people in Canada.
When we've talked with Indigenous leaders, the other thing that they have told us is education is the most important thing. To become informed is the most important thing when it comes to truth and reconciliation. To understand that story, and you won't be able to move forward unless we understand that story. And that's what they're telling us. And that makes a lot of sense.
Now it's time to check in with Heather Klages for a look at what's happening.
Coming up on Sunday, they're having the 2.5 annual Nigel Stapleton Memorial Sporting Clay Tournament. It's an opportunity for you to have a great day out in Hillmond on Sunday and a chance to win some great prizes as well. The first registration time on Sunday will be at 11 a.m. Your last time to get registered and take part will be at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Registration, $40, and that gets you a total of 50 shots and a chance to win some prizes thanks to Wildside Outdoors. Funds raised are going to go to upgrades at the Ball Diamonds and other facilities in Hillmond, and the organization also hopes to make a donation to a nonprofit in the RM of Britannia. You can head out to Hillmond and take part in the event coming up this Sunday. You have the chance to give the gift of flight and also give the gift of supporting mentorships right here in Lloydminster when you place your bid in an auction that's running right now on the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Lloydminster Facebook page. You've got a chance to bid on a trip thanks to WestJet plus a $100 gas card courtesy of the Lloydminster and District Co-op. You will find all the details, all the information on Big Brothers Big Sisters of Lloydminster's Facebook page, and you have until Thursday at noon to place that bid. That's when the auction is going to close, and when you bid, you support a great organization here in our city. And if you're looking to get out of the house on Wednesday, May Cinema 6 is back with their Baby and Me matinees. They are kid-friendly, and the movie they're going to show is going to get everybody in the family set for Halloween. Showtime is 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning, so grab some popcorn, relax, and enjoy a great movie at May Cinema 6. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
We've got some sports coming up next, but first, for stock market enthusiasts, here's a look at some prices.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
The Lloydminster Bobcats sit with a record of 2-4 heading into their game against the Olds Grizzlies tonight. Ahead of the game, Evan Kenny caught up with Cats coach and general manager Nigel Dubé.
Well, joining us now from down south in Brooks, Alberta, is the head coach of the Lloydminster Bobcats, Nigel Dubé. Nigel, thank you for taking this time and joining us.
Thanks for having me, Evan.
Now, Nigel, like I said, right now you are currently in Brooks, Alberta for the AJHL Showcase. Typically, this does take part in Camrose. This year, it is being hosted in Brooks. I guess, Nigel, just starting things off, tell me a little bit about the event and how it's gone so far this year.
Yeah, it's been good. I think, a change location from Camrose, which where it was hosted for several years in a row there, and now to Brooks here. So, it's a unique year because now we are allowed to, get the American colleges up here and a ton of NHL scouts there too as well. So it's good to have people back in the rink, good to, have the scouts and the coaches back in the rink and see things live. And I think that's a big part for, our players and our team as well as teams across the AJHL.
Now, Nigel, in the one game the team has played already versus the Calgary Canucks, the Lloydminster Bobcats were able to pick up a 6-5 win. Just tell me a little bit about this game. I know from checking the box scores, Ethan Aucoin had himself quite the night offensively.
Yeah, and really probably one of our worst played games all year. But those are going to happen. And for our group, we found a way to come out with 2 points at the end of the day. But, I think we realized as a group that we weren't at our best. What those factors are, hopefully we can fix on those this morning here and be ready to go for the game later on and get after it. But 2 points is 2 points. We'll take it. Ethan, had a breakthrough game for himself there, which is good. And some others played really well too as well. So just build on that. We played a lot of hockey in September here. This is going to be our 12th game of September. So we've surpassed last year's total already.
Now, Nigel, the team also picked up 3 different players ahead of this weekend: Luke Busby, Colton Schindel, and Rylan Jockums. I guess just tell me a little bit about each player here.
Yeah, Busby for us on our back end, we're looking to add a little bit of age. He has that. He played out in Coquitlam in the BCHL last year during their development year. So he adds that to our back end. With Jockham's, a younger guy that comes in again, adds a defensive side to our game on the back end. And then with Colton up front, we've had some injuries here that put guys on the sidelines for significant period of times already. And, we wanted to add a little more experience and offensive ability up there. So Colton jumped into right away. Busby was in it last night. Jockums will get into it today. Welcome additions to the club.
Nigel, thank you very much for taking this time and joining me. Best of luck to the team tonight as they take on the Olds Grizzlies, and the Lloydminster Bobcats will be back at the Civic Center for a game on Wednesday versus the Sherwood Park Crusaders. Nigel, thank you.
Thanks for having me, Evan.
The widespread drought across Western Canada has farmers looking ahead to next summer. For some of them, growing drought-tolerant crops like mustard might be a solution. Jillian Code has more on mustard.
Today on Primetime Local News, I'm joined by Rick Mitzel. He is the Executive Director of Sask Mustard and Mustard 21. Rick, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
So I've seen a few farmers talking about mustard on social media saying, hey, maybe I'll get a shot for next year. It seems it might fare a little bit better in a drought. Is this something that farmers should consider?
Mustard is, in theory, a better crop in terms of drought. Like it can be a little bit more drought resistant, especially now we've developed hybrid mustards. And like obviously hybrids are a big portion of the canola acres now. And so we've developed hybrid mustards as well. So they're even better for drought than say your open pollinated varieties of mustard. Now, having said that, the canola varieties have come a long ways as well, and canola has done very well in drought conditions too.
So there are options for farmers. Let's talk about that hybrid mustard that you mentioned. Was it specifically designed for drought tolerance?
No, that was created to increase yield. We had hit the yield barrier with the open pollinated varieties, and we needed to become more competitive with crops like canola and wheat and barley and so on. So we developed hybrids to increase the yield. Our hybrid yield increase is about 20% over our open pollinated. So it's a pretty significant step up for the mustard industry. The other thing the hybrids gave us was like a little bit better drought tolerance, as well as better tolerance in season to adverse conditions. So just similar to the hybrids and canolas, the hybrids and mustards came along and really helped us pull the advancements forward.
And how does growing mustard compare to, the other crops that farmers may have a bit more experience with?
The agronomics are very similar to what we have in canola, or what growers are familiar with canola, with seeding depth, fertility, that type of stuff. We have a production manual on our website on the saskmustard.com. We have a production manual there that goes through all the intricacies of it. But what you tend to find is there's less inputs in terms of cost required for mustard. Your seed cost is usually lower. Your fertility isn't probably as high as canola. And then we don't see a lot of spraying for fungicides on mustard right now, and partly that is because it's grown in a drier area. But we're going to start looking at, with these hybrid mustards now, we're going to look at trying to expand them into other areas outside of the traditionally grown mustard areas. We've actually seen like canola type yields with mustard in irrigation, for example. So if you take a look at the price of mustard today is very attractive. And so if you take that and if you can get stronger yields by growing it in an area where there's a little more moisture, there's going to be some good returns for the grower there.
Rick, that was all the questions that I had. Are there any other aspects of this you think we should touch on?
Well, like we're looking at new uses for mustard as an organization. So we're trying to expand some of the areas that it's used in. And we're doing all kinds of studies with using mustard. Mustard is a fumigant, so we use it. We're testing it right now to mix in with bedding for cattle and pigs. So there's a lot of unique properties with mustard that help it. They're going to help it go forward in the future for other uses. So that's one key thing to keep an eye on. Again, the other thing I mentioned earlier was we have a production manual on our website, so it'd be good for growers to take a look at that. And the other option we've got is in Saskatchewan, Regina, we've got a provincial oilseed specialist as well that's available for questions on some of these items as well.
It kind of seems like a good time to get into mustard. Those research projects, what are they showing so far?
Yeah, we've gotten some results back, and we've had to tweak the level of mustard that's in the bedding to get to a little higher level. And so once we've done that, now we're starting to see some good results, but we're still kind of in the early stages of it. But it does look pretty promising, and we've got a variety of new uses that we're working on, several really unique things. So the future actually looks pretty good that way. And the other real big comment too for growers that are considering it is the cost per acre on growing mustard is significantly less than it is on canola as well. So the investment cost is lower.
So it's worth looking into for farmers. Rick, thank you so much for your time today.
Okay, thank you, Jillian. Thanks for your time.
Joining us today for this week's entertainment panel is Abby St. John. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you.
Now, starting off, Netflix has been releasing so many good movies and TV shows lately. They've honestly been on such a roll, and recently they have just premiered their trailer for The Harder They Fall, which is a bloody Western film that it looks interesting because I don't watch many Western movies myself, but this one has Idris Elba, Regina King, Jonathan Majors, many more, and they actually have like most of it is a black cast for this movie, so it's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be cool to see what's all involved in this.
Yeah, when you first take a look at the trailer, it's your typical Western movie, but like you said, the main cast is all black actors. Idris Elba, Regina King, Jonathan Majors, Zazie Beetz, Lakeith Stanfield. All of them make up the whole main cast. So like you said, it's a majority black cast, which is pretty cool. It opens up with Rufus Black, who is Idris Elba's character. He escapes or gets broken out of prison to reunite with his gang to seek revenge on Nat Love, who's played by Jonathan Majors. So it's that typical standoff Western movie, but there's a lot of action, a lot of bloody scenes. So I think this is going to be a really cool movie, a different take on a Western, and I'm very excited to see it. I'm not a huge Western genre fan, but this movie looks very well done. Cinematography looks really well done as well. So I'm excited to see this movie, and it's going to be on Netflix and select theaters November 3rd. So that tells me that they're probably going after a possible Oscar contender Academy Award if they're putting it in select theaters, just because of the the guidelines for entering the Academy Award. So I'm very hopeful for this movie, and I'm very excited to actually see the full one because the trailer did make it seem very promising.
Yeah, I'm very excited to watch this one as well. I hope it's going to be good. And just with the cast that's going to be involved, I couldn't imagine it being a disappointing film. So I think it's going to be great, especially just seeing the dreamy Idris Elba in it. I'm definitely going to enjoy watching it. And now next up is how Pepsi, the NFL, and Rock Nation have announced just yesterday, actually, that Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, many more are going to be involved in the Pepsi Super Bowl halftime show. And they've been also on a roll with all their halftime shows and their lineups. I am very excited to see what's going to be involved in this one.
Yes, definitely. The Super Bowl halftime show is a huge performance that's been going on since the Super Bowl. You know, past performances the past couple years have been incredible. J-Lo and Shakira, The Weeknd, Lady Gaga, all those big name artists have been just tearing up the halftime Super Bowl show. This year, Dr. Dre, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, and Snoop Dogg are the performers for this year. Kendrick Lamar and Snoop Dogg are native to LA. And this is the first time LA has hosted the Super Bowl in 30 years. So I think it's going to be just a fantastic show, amazing halftime performance, because collectively they have got 43 Grammys, 22 #1 albums on the Billboard Top 200, and 1 Academy Award if you consider Eminem's award for Best Original Song for 8 Mile. So there's a ton of awards collectively throughout this group, and they are legends in the music industry and have been for decades. So I'm so excited for this performance, and I just know that it's going to be one to remember for sure, and it will be on February 13th.
And just seeing, the past halftime shows, especially with like Shakira and J-Lo, that was such an amazing performance, and I couldn't see how this one would disappoint as well, at all, just compared to that one. And it could be even better than what we've been seeing for these halftime shows, especially with that lineup. So that one's going to be really awesome. And now next up, back to films. Daniel Craig's final outing as James Bond. Yes, devastating news for many James Bond fans. Devastating news for Daniel Craig fans as a general. And now his final movie, No Time to Die, and the premiere has just happened. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, so they have the critics have released their ratings and their opinions on the movie. There's been a lot of pushback and delays, so a lot of fans were wondering, is it worth all of the pushbacks? From what I've seen through the critics, yes, it is. It's so worth the delays. A lot of critics, big-time critics, are giving it 5 out of 5. Peter Bradshaw from The Guardian stated, "No Time to Die is a startling, exotically self-aware, funny, and confident, and perhaps, most of all, it is big. Big action, big laughs, and big stunts." So this is a huge film, just to wrap up that installment. That it's going to be big, and there's going to be a lot more than possibly that we've seen in the past with these movies. It's already certified fresh with a 83% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's already huge on that aspect, and it will be in theaters October 8th. And like you said, it is the last installment as Daniel Craig, his James Bond. So now next, who's going to play James Bond next? We don't know. Daniel Craig has stated that he wouldn't want to see a woman play 007 because he would rather have, an original character for that. But there's been a lot of rumors as to who could play the new James Bond, Henry Cavill being one of them. So I'm very excited to see who is going to lead the next James Bond franchise.
Yeah, it's going to be sad to see Daniel Craig go, but like you said, it will be very fascinating to see who would replace him. And Henry, that would be a very good choice. So hopefully we'll get to see soon just after this, but it's going to be sad to see him go, of course, because, he played such a great James Bond, just how cool and collective he really is. But that's all the time we have for this week's entertainment panel, unfortunately. Thanks again so much for joining us today, Abby.
Thank you.